If the term chiclets gets you excited about source units like I get excited about it, then you know today's feature brand has got it packing with so much technology and so much performance. Of course, we're talking about Alpine, but today's Connected is going to be a little bit different. Yeah, of course, we're going to be talking about the models, but I want to find out the technology that's built into Alpine that really makes it special. We've got their product expert, Eric Brooks, joining us, and I'm going to absolutely grill him on what technology is built into all these Alpine source units. This is CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM, all about Alpine, and it starts now. What's going on, guys, and welcome to another CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu, and yes, I said it. I want to find out what exactly goes on inside these chassis of Alpine source units to make them sound so darn good. For decades, we've trusted this brand to be that source unit provider that gives us that clean sound to build systems upon. And today is no different. Yes, the form factor may have changed and some of the features might be a little bit different, but we're going to get down to, the nitty gritty and find out what really makes these Alpine source units tick. So Eric, welcome to the show. What can I expect to grill you on today?
Hey, thanks, Ben. Yeah, there are a lot of great things that go into these units, some unique items and things that probably most people haven't never heard of before. So hopefully we'll give them some insight and help them understand why these units perform so well and really what the next steps is and why they perform the way they do.
All right, Eric, I'm warning you. You asked for it, so I promise you I will deliver the goods. But first, an opportunity for our partner, SiriusXM, to remind you guys out there why it's always an excellent add-on sale. And when we come back, we've got Eric Brooks from Alpine. Don't you dare go away.
Hi, Paul Truman here with SiriusXM. We reached out to some of our partners in the industry, and here's what they had to say.
I can't say more or enough about just what it means to have our unit working with SiriusXM. It's like we're there now.
The SiriusXM service is something consumers want, right? So it's Paul.
That allows a consumer to listen to either podcasts, entertainment, sports, all at their fingertips. It's all about engagement, and that's what SiriusXM provides.
SiriusXM is a huge component in a vehicle nowadays. Consumers expect that technology to be available both in our OEM system as well as the aftermarket upgrades that they're applying to their vehicle.
Alpine and SiriusXM, through our electronics, are able to offer the consumer on the aftermarket side SiriusXM 360L, which is an expanded platform for SiriusXM. And it's really been a beneficial relationship for us with SiriusXM.
As a dealer, just remember, we don't compete with anybody else. We are absolutely one of the best profitability accessories you can add to any head unit that is SiriusXM ready.
All right, everybody, welcome back to the show. Now, Eric, we've spent a lot of time talking about the different series of radios that Alpine has. Of course, the very popular Halo series, which are feature-packed, and we're going to get into some of that. But what I want to know today is really some of the technology, some of the hard bits that really make Alpine, I want to say, a little bit different, right? You guys are packing a lot of history. You're packing a lot of credibility when it comes to the quality of the sound that your units produce. So I've broken down a couple questions, and I guess the first one I want to start with is let's talk about technology at large. Alpine totes a lot of fancy phrases that honestly some people don't know what they mean, and I'm hoping to kind of demystify that and make them understand that these aren't just words. These are actual technologies that are built in the unit. So what have you to say about the technology within Alpine source units?
So for technologies, there really are a lot of things going on in our source units. Number one, kind of the high level stuff is like parametric equalization. There's adjustable crossovers, there's time correction, that kind of stuff. But really what people probably don't know so much about are the internal circuits that were developed for our 507, 509, 511 that really do give them a leg up on the competition when it comes to actual performance, how quiet the unit is, the overall bandwidth that it can perform to, and the resolution that it can accept and play out of the source unit. So a lot of cool stuff going on in here.
All right, let's start with the first item here. And this one kind of pops out to me because I don't really understand what it means. So I'm hoping you can shed some light on the matter. The term is LED electric circuit. What on earth does this mean? Is this a fancy light bulb that goes off? Because I'm not sure what this is referring to.
That's a great question, and I'm glad to hear that you know about the LED electric circuit, and I'm happy to explain it to you. Now, you got to kind of put your thinking cap on because it's kind of technical, right? So think of it as electrons like cars, and they're moving on a racetrack, right? So these electrons in a head unit, they're moving across the circuit path, and they're doing all kinds of bends around corners and on straightaways, and they're on these different paths, right? Well, we want to ensure that all of these electrons are aligning at the same point at the same time, right? So we get less digital interference or distortion, right, from the actual information moving from one circuit to the next. So what happens is, one thing we've done for years is make sure that all of our circuit lengths are the same length, right? And we always put nice transitions on turns, so there's no hard right angle turns on our circuit boards, right? Because you can go faster around a smooth turn than you can around a 90-degree turn, right? So that's one part of it. But what we've developed in these units, the 507, 509, 511, is something called the red LED circuit, right? And what this does is, when the electrons hit this LED, it basically lights up the LED. And the effect of that is it puts all of the electrons back in perfect time alignment. Okay, so it effectively reduces noise in the unit itself by up to 46 dB. And it's amazing. And it's basically noise created by the circuit because of these electrons getting out of sync. So it puts them back into sync, and it effectively lowers noise created by the machine itself. I've always said it's better to hear the music more than you hear the machine making it, right? And that's what this does by putting these electrons in perfect time alignment. It's really cool, feature that we have, or technology.
Eric, I got to give it to you, man. That analogy totally made sense. And, aligning the speed of the electrons is something that, I'll be honest, 99% of everybody, maybe more, aren't paying attention to. But I think I want to summarize with what you said at the end there. Because really, for an audiophile, we're talking those guys that really geek out on the quality of the sound. You're not supposed to hear the gear. You're supposed to hear the music. And if this is a feature that helps do that by eliminating noise and getting everything aligned, then power to you. What a great little feature called LED electric circuit. All right, here's my next one. Full digital power IC. I love these Japanese companies. They come up with some pretty creative ways to call their technology. But I have you here, so please explain to me what this one's all about.
Yeah, Ben. Well, the actual name of this full power IC circuit, it really does kind of identify what it is. It's a digital power IC, right? So basically, it's just taking from the analog base and putting it into digital, which gives us more control, right? And this is the world's first digital power IC in a head unit, right? So we're the first ones to do this. And basically what we found the effect on this is, again, a lowering of noise and a more accurate detail to the power that goes throughout the circuit board, right? So by being able to provide power more consistently, it again results in less noise produced by the machine itself. So by transitioning from an analog power base to a digital power IC in these units, again, it just another step in cleaning up the sound and making sure that the product is performing as well as it can, right? And as quietly as it can.
So while we have the hood open and we're really looking into the mechanics of it all, we're down to the circuit board and little features that Alpine has built in. Here's another one I'd like some explanation on. I read on the brochure that these units feature something called a digital coil. What could that mean?
Yeah, Ben. So a byproduct of a coil, right, is harmonics, right? So adding things to the sound that wouldn't be there previously. So components previously used could potentially have an impact on the sound. Well, these digital coils basically remove that impact. So you can actually see, when you look at this thing on a scope, you could see a reduction in noise with units with a digital power IC versus units that don't have a digital power IC. Again, lending to the benefit of better sound and overall more accurate response of the system because of these things that we've taken, these steps that we've taken to eliminate noise created from components that have been used traditionally in the industry.
So if you're following along, you can see the depths of which Alpine has committed to really, eliminating noise from the signal, getting things aligned. And you said a key word here, Eric, and I want to kind of dive in a little bit deeper on this. And this is componentry or components. There are some special components that Alpine uses in the build of their radios. So why don't we take some time to kind of identify some of these high quality custom components that Alpine incorporates?
Yeah, Ben, something that we've talked about for years, and it's actually used in all of our products, whether it's amplifiers, head units, whatever, DSPs, whatever it is. We use audio grade components, right? And we use custom components that we've determined would be best for the circuit. And the difference between audio grade and commercial grade components, I'll use this analogy, right? You can take a light switch, and a light switch is an industrial grade component. You turn the thing on, you turn the thing off, it turns the light on, it turns the light off, right? That's what it does. It just does its job, and that's what it does. What an audio grade component does is there is a set of tolerances identified for the resistor or for the coil or for the cap, right? So, hey, this is going to produce this outcome using this component, right? So, in using an audio grade component, it's going to be more tightly regulated and held to the spec, where just a standard industrial grade component, yeah, it'll get close to what it's supposed to do, but there may be fluctuation in what its actual performance is, right? So, you could use industrial grade components, but what we found is by using audio grade components that have been customized and determined to use in our circuits, it gives us the best outcome. So it is a premium. It is a step above what is available, and but that's why our performance is better.
Eric, I can't tell you how appreciative I know I am for taking the time to really explain, every little piece of technology and detail that goes into the construction and build of these Alpine units. I want to kind of shift focus now to something that's less hardware and maybe more software. Well, no, there is hardware based in there as well. But we're going to be talking about DSP, and I want to make a note here. I spent a lot of time talking to every brand and reviewing, all the different features that are out there. One thing about DSP and Alpine, I want to really emphasize this. Alpine is currently the only Japanese-based source unit company that actually provides products in DSP standalone or integrated into amplifiers. This is interesting because it takes a lot of R&D, it takes a lot of development, and it takes a lot of programming to even play in this realm. So when it comes to DSP features, I think that Alpine certainly has committed themselves to it, and I want to hear from you how that is translated into some key DSP features within the source units.
Hey, Ben, you make a really good point, and I've been an Alpine fan since I was a kid, right? And one of the things that I learned early on about Alpine was the fact that Alpine globally, right? When you talk about the global brand of Alpine, and you talk about basically our background, our parent company is Alps Alpine, right? Which is a huge company. We employ more engineers at Alps Alpine and at Alpine than a lot of other manufacturers have in total employment. So we have a lot of resources that we can put toward specific items that we find important. And DSP and technologies like the ones we've been talking about today are very, very important. Look, our brand is our badge, right? And we believe in it. And many dealers do as well. And they find comfort in knowing that, hey, this product's going to stand the test of time. It's going to sound great. And understanding reasons why it does is very important. And DSP and the capability of to sound tune a product to maximize the experience in a customer's vehicle is very, very important. And thankfully, Alpine has the resources to not only supply the chain with DSP products, but really we have some very innovative products as well. And sometimes they're a little ahead of the curve. Sometimes they're just in time, but I think as customers continue to pay attention to DSP and integration, it's really going to become more and more a necessity in overcoming the challenges in a vehicle.
All right, we're down to the last point, and this last one is kind of an edge that Alpine has. Not going to lie, this is an edge that Alpine is currently offering because currently, again, the only source unit to offer this following feature. You might have heard about it, and if you haven't, pay attention. It's called SiriusXM 360L. What could that be about? Well, from what I understand, this is an expanded platform to get even more out of your SiriusXM subscription. And I'm sure, Eric, you can give us all the details.
Yeah, Ben, SiriusXM 360L is absolutely a very, very, very cool feature. Um, Kind of the best way that I've been explained how the easiest way to explain it to a consumer is if they have a smart TV or they access SiriusXM streaming content through a device like a smart TV, there are expanded content, right? There's more channels, there's more ways to access channels. But on SiriusXM 360L in particular, with our head units, you can actually talk to the head unit and have it find a musician playing. Right, it's really pretty cool. There's on-demand content available through SiriusXM 360L, so you can talk to the thing, tell it what you want it to hear, and it'll play it for you. You can actually set up independent Pandora channels through your SiriusXM 360 app on your head unit and add content on top of content right within the app itself. So it's a lot of really cool things that you get through a streaming content. So what happens is basically you go into the SiriusXM 360 source. It will ask you, do you want to do 360L? And if so, you're gonna stream. So you hit OK. It then turns your phone into a hotspot automatically. You don't have to go in and change settings or anything like that. It just begins to use your phone as a hotspot to download content. It then begins streaming, right? So you have that capability of doing the streaming service, 360L, or using standard satellite-based SiriusXM. So a really cool feature, something that we're very, very proud to be partnered with them on, and we're definitely enjoying the fact that for now we're the only aftermarket head unit that utilizes this feature.
That was Alpine's Eric Brooks joining us for a total geek out session on Alpine source units and all the great technologies that go into it. Hopefully you learned a thing or two there. If you want to find out more details on any of this technology or any of the source units that we talked about, make sure you head on over to the official website. We'll put the link on the screen right now. And of course, if you happen to be a Canadian dealer tuning in, make sure you contact the good folks at Gentech International, as they are the official distributor for all things Alpine in Canada. My takeaway, man, I got to tell you, if this episode hasn't proven anything, it is the fact that Alpine is serious when it comes to the quality output of the sound from their source units. Not only that, of course, they are feature rich. Of course, there's a brand. That stuff aside, we took the time today to really show you guys the level to which Alpine dedicates their resources to ensure that the customer is getting the best possible sound from every source unit that they might choose from the Alpine selection. Add to that the takeaway of things like that SiriusXM 360L. Hey, if you have a customer coming in and they even drop the word 360L, immediately point them to the Alpine unit. They're the only ones that have it, so no brainer there. At the end of the day, you might look at this as, details that aren't important. I hope you don't. You might look at it as weird, terms that do I really need to learn about? Well, the truth is this. At the end of the day, if you've learned anything at all, Alpine is no joke when it comes to ensuring the quality of the sound and performance that comes out from their source unit. And you can rest assured, I don't think that is going away anytime soon. That's it for this CMA Connected, brought to you by SiriusXM. I'm your host, Ben Wu. Until next time, we connect.